News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Lisa Mateo.
Lisa, we begin with new developments on two trade fronts. Talks between Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, and China's Vice Premier He Feng are scheduled to take place in Malaysia this weekend. That's a prelude to the closely watched meeting between President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping next week. The president says he wants Xi to resume American soybean purchases, crack down on fentanyl, and back off restrictions on rare earth exports. He says if no deal is reached, big tariffs resume.
On November 1st, the tariff on China goes to 157%, which is record-setting territory. And we don't want that because it's not sustainable for them.
The president scheduled to arrive in Malaysia, his first stop on his Asian trip, early Sunday morning.
Meantime, Nathan, President Trump injecting new uncertainty into America's closest trading partnership. The president posted on Truth Social that he's terminating trade negotiations with Canada. He's citing this TV advertisement from the province of Ontario.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
Well, that commercial features excerpts from then President Ronald Reagan defending free trade. We get more on that from Bloomberg's Balash Pens.
This is just a reminder of just how rocky the relationship with Canada has been ever since Trump returned to the White House. And even though there has been a sense of stabilization recently and talks have been happening, Mark Carney was in the White House a couple of weeks ago, and that meeting seems to have gone well. That really important trade relationship, which is worth almost $1 trillion a year.
Bloomberg's Balash Pens reports President Trump is accusing Canada of timing the ad to interfere with the Supreme Court case against his country-by-country tariffs. Arguments in that case, well, they're set for November 5th.
Well, now, Lisa, let's get to the latest on the government shutdown. It is day 24 of the second longest shutdown in American history. On day 23, Senate Democrats blocked a Republican bill that would have paid members of the military and federal workers who've had to stay on the job since the funds ran out on October 1st. Democrats say that bill would give President Trump too much leeway to decide which government employees have to keep working while the standoff continues. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says all federal workers will receive paychecks once the government reopens.
When Donald Trump says anything, and he's the president of the United States, and there's been a willingness to engage in unlawful and illegal behavior, sometimes rubber stamped by the conservative majority on the U.S. Supreme Court, that's problematic. But the law is very crystal clear in this particular instance. And we are going to make sure that every single federal employee receives the entirety of their pay.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke with Bloomberg's David Gura. Catch their full conversation on the latest edition of the Bloomberg Big Take podcast.
And that government shutdown, Nathan, well, it's also delayed important economic data. Later this morning, we finally get the consumer price report for September. Bloomberg's Michael McKee has a preview.
One rose among the thorns. We actually get some inflation data from the government. The Labor Department has called furloughed employees back to work to put together the September Consumer Price Index. Social Security uses a third quarter CPI average to determine next year's cost of living increase for beneficiaries, which, by law, must be published this month. The data had all been collected by the time the government shut down on October 1st, so it's simply a matter of collating it and making the usual seasonal adjustments. Analysts expect we'll see no appreciable slowdown from August, with headline CPI rising 0.4% during the month and core 0.3%. That would put the annual rate of inflation at 3.1% for both, another move in the wrong direction for the Fed. Michael McKee, Bloomberg Radio.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
I'm Lisa Mateo, and this is Bloomberg.